What is up, everybody? So, last night I got around to going to see Creed 3. And I will first preface this by saying I have never seen a Rocky movie in my life. And I just recently watched all of the Creed movies because I saw the trailer for this one. And the fights that I saw in the trailer got me hyped. I really wanted to see Jonathan Majors versus Michael B. Jordan, Creed versus Damien. It got me excited, and I really wanted to see this movie. And as I learned about it with the development, it would be Michael B. Jordan's first directorial debut, and as well as he took inspiration from boxing anime in directing the movie. And that being said, you can really tell that he's a fan of anime when it comes to these fights in this movie. Like, this movie in itself just feels like an anime that was just set to live action. The core premise of Creed 3 is that Adonis Creed has been retired for 3 years, and his old friend and childhood rival, Damien, is released from prison, and he coerces Creed into giving him a shot in the big ring, getting him to be a professional boxer. And Damien has a bit of a chip on his shoulder, and he kind of uses that, and it becomes this big dog that's going to end up ruining Creed's life unless he does something about it, which, results in their confrontation. That's the core premise of the movie. Damien's old friend comes back. Now Creed wants to fight him because they have conflict with each other. It's a very simple premise, very anime. The childhood rival returns, and now they want revenge. Very typical, and I really loved it. You don't need a complex plot for every kind of movie, and this movie having an extremely simple premise worked very well. Now, I know some people probably won't like that, given that the original Creed movies had more depth and more connection to the Rocky franchise, if you're a longtime fan of that, and the other ones felt more emotional and character-driven than this one. This one does have emotional, character-driven moments, but, it's short and sweet and to the point. It's very much about the fight. The movie is just taking its time building up your anticipation for the fight, and there are more fights in this movie in general. The movie starts off, you get to see Creed in a boxing match, you get to see Damien in some boxing matches throughout the movie, so there are a lot more fights in this movie than there are in previous Creed movies, and I personally like that because, seeing dudes scrap is entertaining, what can I say? Michael B. Jordan, fantastic job as his first time directing. There were some shots in this movie that I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, especially in regards to the fight. Especially the final fight with Damien, there's this really cool sequence that pulled straight from anime. The entire surrounding ring around the two of them goes black. There's no one in the audience. It's just Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors throwing hands for a few minutes. It's the best thing to see in the movie. I loved it so much. The choreography, the direction, it just made every impact, every dodge feel so invigorating to see. It's just energetic, and I really did love that so much. Bianca in this movie, Creed's wife, she's pretty good. She doesn't have as much to do, and she's not really as integral to the story as she was in previous movies. I liked her in the first Creed movie because it felt like her story kind of paralleled what he was doing, but she's kind of just around as the story continues. She's still very much Creed's heart and helps him through things, but I don't know, it just didn't land the same way she did in previous movies as she does in this one, but she still is fantastic in the movie. The standout, though, is definitely Jonathan Majors. I mentioned it back when I did my Ant-Man review a couple weeks ago. Jonathan Majors is a phenomenal actor, and he kills it as Damien. He just steals the show in every scene that he's on screen, and I absolutely loved it. This man is a beast, and I can't wait to see what he's going to do in the future. Honestly, that's really it. Creed was just an entertaining time. It's 2 hours, just under 2 hours. So it's not a long watch. You'll definitely have a good time going to see it. Everyone in the theater that I was with really enjoyed seeing the movie, so I'm safe to recommend you going to see it yourself. That's really all I would have to say about this movie. Fantastic. Loved it. Had some cool shots, some awesome fights. Did have a bit of an emotional story with it, even if it was simplistic. Like I said, sometimes simple is effective. That's just how it be. So, that being said, if you've seen Creed 3, let me know what you thought of it down in the comments. Whether you agree, disagree with me, you think it's the worst thing ever. And also, on top of that, since this is a trilogy, give me your ranking of the Creed movies. For me, it would have to be 3, 2, 1, as from best to worst. That's how I feel about it on a personal level of enjoyment. So, I'm curious to know what your thoughts are. So, last but most certainly not least, I'm the innocent villain. And remember, folks, you're innocent until proven villainous, and I'll catch you next time.